As someone who's played at least 2 games of Hypixel Sumo, a question I'm often asked is how to get good, and the answer is to click 20 and have low ping. Jokes aside, no matter your skill level, this video probably has something for you, whether you're just starting out with Hypixel Sumo or you've already played a lot. I'll be covering beginner stuff to advanced strategies not many people know about. If this video ends up helping you out, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Alright, let's hop into it. It's a well-known fact that the more CPS you have, the less knockback you take. But to deal more knockback, you have to sprint reset. When you sprint and hit someone, you get what's called a sprint hit, which deals a lot of knockback. But after you get the sprint hit, if you keep holding W and clicking, you won't get sprint hits. This is why you need to sprint reset, to get sprint hits constantly. There are many different ways to sprint reset. The first one I'll be covering is W tapping. To W tap, simply let go of W for a second after hitting your opponent, and make sure not to randomly spam W. You have to time it. If done correctly, you'll deal way more knockback. Other methods include shift tapping and sprint tapping. To sprint tap, turn off toggle sprint and hold down your sprint key to sprint. Then, let go of your sprint key when you're getting hit or hitting someone. This will reset your sprint while not completely stopping your momentum. And to shift tap, instead of letting go of W, press shift with the same timing as W tapping. After you've won a trade, the next thing is to try and maintain a combo. To do this, you have to W tap after each hit. W tapping allows you to combo lock your opponent by keeping your distance and dealing more knockback. But due to Hypixel knockback being really inconsistent, combo locking can be very difficult. So when comboing someone, try to aim for the head for the furthest reach and click in bursts for better hit reg. Strafing is important to mess up your opponent's aim. The main thing to focus on when strafing is to be as unpredictable as possible. Strafe switching can be very effective at this. By strafe switching, you fake going one direction and then switch directions, which messes up your opponent's aim. This can be very effective if you have low ping and go for the first hit. Another thing is counter strafing. If you're confident in your aim and you see your opponent doing a long strafe to one side, do a long strafe to the other side and go for the first hit. S tapping is where you let go of W and press S, then press W again. This is very useful for spacing when comboing somebody, as you can move yourself backwards in the combo if you get too close. The other use for S tapping is to counter hit selectors, which can be done by S tapping after the first hit to hit your opponent and then back out of their range. However, this can be very risky, and depending on your opponent's ping, it can be more or less effective.
Who are you kidding? How could you doubt me? I've always delivered. Ripping the teeth out of the back of my mouth.
Hit selecting is a very powerful technique that involves letting your opponent hit you first. Depending on your ping, how you hit select changes. It's better to have mid to high ping to hit select, but people with low ping can still do it. The reason hit selecting works is the same reason that having the low ground in fights is advantageous.
Because the base of a right triangle is shorter than the hypotenuse.
By manipulating the hit sequence, you are closer to the ground by the second hit, which allows you to start a combo. There are many different hit selecting methods, but they mainly fall into 3 categories: light hit selecting, normal hit selecting, and heavy hit selecting. Light hit selecting is immediately hitting your opponent after you've been hit, and then W tapping. It is less risky, but also less effective compared to normal hit selecting, as you are usually still going upwards when you do a light hit select, so you have less of a low ground advantage. This method is most effective against low ping opponents going for the first hit. Next is normal hit selecting, which is the most common. To do a normal hit select, wait until you stop going upwards, then W tap after hitting your opponent. This is more risky than a light hit select, but also more rewarding if done correctly. Finally, we have heavy hit selecting. This is the most risky of all the methods, and is mainly used as a mix-up. To do a heavy hit select, wait until you start falling, then hit your opponent. In my opinion, mid-trading is the most powerful tool for winning trades, and is the main one I use. Mid-trading is essentially hit selecting multiple times during a trade. To mid-trade, you have to click in bursts, and it looks something like this. After hitting, you stop clicking and wait for your opponent to hit you before hitting them again. Then W tap after each hit. Mid-trading uses the same principle of low ground as hit selecting to win trades. When I mid-trade, I like to do bursts of 4 clicks when my opponent is closer to me to take less KB, then start doing bursts of 2 when my opponent is further away for better hit reg. Oftentimes, it ends with me doing a burst of 4 clicks followed by a burst of 2. The first method I want to talk about is jumping at the start. Jumping at the start allows you to get to mid faster and can give you an advantage against an opponent who did not jump. But there is an even better method, known as the long jump, which was created by Ores. His video will be linked in the description. To do this method, you will need to be on a client like Lunar or Badline with modern keybind handling on. To do a long jump, open your inventory before the game starts and hold W in space. Another important use of jumping is getting back to mid after a trade. If you and your opponent trade hits and both go flying back, jumping back to mid can let you get there faster and give you an advantage. Jumping can also be used to maintain a combo if your opponent flies too far away and gets out of range, and you can pair this with S-tapping to make sure that you can keep the combo going. Jump resetting allows you to take extremely low knockback if done correctly, but it can backfire and cause you to go flying if done incorrectly. To jump reset, jump right as you are getting hit. If done correctly, you will take mostly vertical KB, and it will allow you to win the trade. When jump resetting, make sure to keep W tapping, otherwise you won't deal any knockback.
Where the beat go? Oh, ain't that something? Drums came in, you ain't see that coming. Hands on my head, can't tell me nothing. Got a taste of the fame, it'll pump my stomach.
If you lose a trade and are hit near the ledge, there are some methods that you can use to survive and get back. To prevent sliding off an edge like this, I do something I like to call shift clutching. After you get hit back, if you think that you may slip off the ledge, hold shift and it can prevent you from slipping off the edge. Another important thing to do when near the ledge is hard strafing in one direction. If you keep strafing in a direction, it can make it harder for the opponent to kill you and eventually let you get back to center. If you get put in a combo, don't just stay in it. Strafe and W tap to try and get out. Strafing to the side when you're near the ledge makes it a lot harder to kill you. The final tip I have for fighting near the ledge is if your opponent hit selects, you can try jumping or walking through them and then backstabbing them. If you're higher ping, you can also do a jump hit select, which is just jumping in on your opponent and hit selecting them.
I want you to know that you can't come back. I want you to know that fake love don't last.
The main way to beat other hit selectors is to either have better movement and mess up their aim, or to be more patient than them and wait for them to hit you first. Try and get behind your opponent, and if you're faster when turning around, hit them. If not, remain patient and wait for them to hit you. If you want to go for the first hit, you can mid-trade after the first hit to possibly still win the trade, but it can be risky. You can also fake going for first hit, then stop clicking right when you get in range to mess your opponent up. If your opponent keeps trying to hit select you near the ledge, besides the aforementioned S-tap, you can try messing them up by stopping for a second. This allows you to stay in front of them rather than getting hit selected and backstabbed. Hey everyone, thanks for watching to the end of the video. If you made it this far, comment Muffin, and if you enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing. This guide took way too long to make. See ya.